Coming up on 5:30, Get Up DC. We are still in a weather watch alert this morning. I'm Marcella Robertson.
I'm Allison Seymour. And if you're heading out the door, make sure you just grab a mask. The haze is back, and so is the code red alert. Poor air quality from the Canadian wildfires has stopped some with lung conditions from outdoor activities. But now even those without any sort of underlying conditions are finding it hard to be under these hazy skies.
Just trying to walk 2 blocks up the street to the restaurant and come back, it's something else.
Since the haze returned, people in D.C. like Bonita Johnson are protecting themselves by wearing a mask until the air quality improves. Health experts say you should consider doing the same and try to remain indoors as much as possible.
Following breaking news in Hawaii, where deadly wildfires are still burning this morning in Maui. We just got an update from leaders there about an hour ago, and they say at least 36 people have now died. Dozens of others are hurt, and those numbers are expected to climb. Now, the flames are being fueled by winds from Hurricane Dora as the storm skirts the island. Hundreds of structures have been damaged or destroyed in the historic town of Lahaina, including this historic building that you're looking at. It was the oldest structure among those hit. Also, power remains out on the west side of the island. Thousands have been forced to evacuate, and hotels are being asked to house residents and tourists alike. State leaders say they remain in search and rescue mode. The National Guard working to rescue people right now who had to flee the flames by jumping into the ocean. And despite this, the rest of the state is still open. They're actually urging travelers not to cancel their trips, saying the state's livelihood depends on tourism. Hawaii's governor says that she'll ask President Joe Biden for a presidential emergency declaration once they can determine the fire's full damage. She says repairs will take years.
Are you cleaning out your wallet to keep cool? Up next, we're going to verify how to properly use a ceiling fan to maximize your savings.
The summer sauna is not over yet, and with just a few days left until August, experts from the European Union are saying that July will be the hottest month on record. The report found that the temperature for the first 23 days of July was 0.6 degrees higher than the previous record. The temperature averaged around 62.5 degrees. Experts also say these will likely be the highest temperatures Earth sees in more than 100,000 years.
We've been talking a lot about storm damage, but now we're turning the conversation to you and what should you do if you have damage. Let's go through 3 big steps here. If you have damage, the most important thing you need to do, take photos of the damage. Make sure you have a mix of close-up shots and full shots, also videos. Then send these to your insurance company so they know exactly what they're dealing with. Here's tip number 2. Make sure you alert your insurance as soon as damage happens, but also call them throughout the years so you understand your policy, what's covered. And lastly, protect your damaged property. This will help to keep further damage from happening.
You have to mitigate your damages, which is you have to protect your properties from further damage. So if you have the unfortunate event of a tree falling on your roof and it causes a hole, don't just leave the hole open and wait for the insurance company to come see it. Cover it up, put a tarp up, call a company to dry it up, to do whatever it is, but it's called mitigating your damages. If you do not do any of those things that I just mentioned or the things that are listed in that part of the policy, they could deny your claim outright, even if you have coverage, because you're not doing your responsibility as a policyholder.
So important to remember. Okay, now that you know what to do when a storm hits, we should tell you, our meteorologists here say that there is a chance of summer storms this week again. So remember the 3 C's: click, call, and cover.
Let's get you caught up on 2 big weather headlines this Wednesday morning. First, utility crews are making progress on the ongoing power outages in our area. Dominion Energy reports only 300 homes now in the DMV are still in the dark. And Pepco says less than 5% of homes in D.C., Prince George's County, and Montgomery County are without power right now. Some of the worst damage was to Carroll County's Route 140 in Westminster. The storm, you can see, knocked down about 20 electrical poles right onto cars on that roadway, and we just checked again this morning. It is still closed between Market Street and Gorsuch Road. Crews will continue cleaning up the debris. This morning, Mother Nature brought all the states a different set of challenges. The DMV, as well as parts of the Southwest, are struggling to keep cool, and cooling centers have been set up around Phoenix, Arizona, as the city there gears up for its 14th straight day of temperatures at or above 110 degrees.
We pass out hygiene kits, cooling towels, hats, anything that we can give people to help them face the heat.
Meanwhile, in the Midwest, it's a different struggle. Tornadoes delayed yesterday's flights in and out of Chicago, took out homes and knocked down trees, but fortunately, no lives were lost.
And in New England, cleanup efforts continue after heavy flooding. Parts of Vermont are covered in mud and other sections are still underwater.
Montgomery County remains under a water contact health advisory alert. High concentrations of harmful algae blooms were found at the Triadelphia Reservoir. You and your pets should stay out of that water and contact the health department if you've been in contact with it. WSSC says drinking water in the county isn't impacted. Officials are keeping an eye on water quality conditions at the nearby Patuxent water filtration plant as a precautionary measure. It's not clear when the health advisory will be lifted.
Montgomery County Police hope surveillance video will help them track down the people behind an alleged hate crime. Pride flags were set on fire in a Silver Spring neighborhood around 2 a.m. yesterday morning. Now, the suspects caught on camera running away. You just saw it before continuing to destroy more private property. Neighbors say more than a dozen homes were hit. The county council chair, Evan Glass, and his husband live just down the street from some of the worst damage.
This is personal. As a neighbor, as a gay man, and as an elected official, I just want everybody to feel safe in our community, and this is unnerving and it's unraveling, and we got to get to the bottom of it, and we have to make sure that hate has no home here.
Several Ukraine flags were also either burned or stolen. Police say that they'll increase patrols in and around the neighborhood to hopefully find the people responsible.
Coming up on 5:54, it is time for your morning headlines here. You will be able to get your Starbucks fix this morning at most stores across the DMV. Not the case, though, nationwide. Over 3,000 Starbucks union workers started striking on Friday. They say some locations have not been allowed to put up pride decorations this month.
It just makes us feel like they really don't care about us as people and as partners.
Starbucks denies all these claims, saying it's been outspoken in its support for the LGBTQIA+ community for decades. The company released a statement saying, in part, quote, "There have been no change to any policy on this matter, and we continue to encourage our store leaders to celebrate with their communities, including for U.S. Pride Month in June."
If you rely on rideshare to get around the DMV, you might have to find a new mode of transportation today. Some D.C. area Uber and Lyft drivers are striking this afternoon at Reagan National Airport. They're demanding higher pay and protections against having their accounts deactivated without justification. This is video from another rally they held back in 2019. The striking drivers are asking rideshare users to show their support by shutting off the Uber and Lyft apps on their phones for 24 hours.
Actors and writers won't be the only ones holding picket signs in Los Angeles today. More than 11,000 LA City workers are expected to walk off the job for 24 hours. Among those on strike include employees at the city sanitation department, port and airport. Los Angeles City officials say that they've been bracing for the work stoppage and are focused on trying to minimize the disruptions to city operations.
Future contestants on The Price is Right will be able to come on down, but the American Classic TV game show is headed to a new stage, you guys. The last show in the iconic studio in Los Angeles has now been taped. Since the show's 1972 relaunch, The Price is Right has taped almost 10,000 episodes here, but now the show will be moving to a more modern studio in nearby Glendale.
A Taste of Hollywood landed in D.C. One of the latest Marvel movies is being shot near the White House. Exactly which one is still a bit of a mystery. We do know that shooting took place last night. It will happen again later tonight. None of these superheroes can save you from the D.C. traffic, though. There are parking restrictions during daytime hours, and 15th Street Northwest will close from Constitution to G Street from 6:30 this evening until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
President Joe Biden's third state dinner is now in the books, and last night's event received the seal of approval from vegetarians. The meal was entirely plant-based. This meal pleased India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is vegetarian. It was a big hit among other guests as well. After the dinner, everyone was entertained by American violinist Joshua Bell.
The Baltimore Symphony Orchestra is set to host a concert featuring music all composed by artificial intelligence. Lord. The group started experimenting with AI, using it to determine a song's notes and rhythms. Thanks to a partnership between the orchestra and MindGrub Technologies, everything from the concert ads to the drink menu are also created by AI. Seats are still available for the August 9th show. What a surprise.
12 hip-hop artist 50 Cent is celebrating a big anniversary, and the party is happening right here in the DMV. It's all for his debut album that came out 20 years ago. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break.
Get up, DC. Let's show off another reason to love where you live.
The world's largest rubber ducky, you're the
Oh
one,
my.
will
How
soon be
cute.
swimming in the Chesapeake Bay. This duck
cute.
is more than 6 stories high, and it weighs over 30,000 pounds.
Wow.
This is video from its visit to Washington State a few years ago, but this year you'll be able to see this giant duck at waterfronts in Leonardtown and Crisfield, Maryland, starting August 4th. Well, we have great news for your July 4th holiday and your wallet. Your Independence Day barbecue is actually going to be a little cheaper than it was last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Survey from the American Farm Bureau Federation calculated the cost of a 10-person cookout with 12 staple items here. Okay, you got your burger buns, your beef, potato salad. Those were up in price this year, but chicken breasts, lemonade, chocolate chip cookies, anybody? Those all saw price drops.
Okay.
That works out to be an average of about $68 to put on the cookout.
Through the years, or I should say, though this year's average cost is expected to be about $2 cheaper than last year, this is still the second highest cost on record. So,
4th of July travelers flying out of Dulles and Reagan National Airport later today could face another wave of flight disruption. Storms are expected to move through the Northeast and the plains. This is a live look at FlightAware's misery map. And right now there are no delays at our local airports. That's some good news, but there are some delays. There are 39 delays, in fact, reported nationwide right now. Thousands of flights were delayed or canceled over the past 10 days because of severe weather and also staffing shortages. Travelers should expect longer airport lines because of all of this. You might not have to rely on planes for much longer. The FAA just approved testing for a flying car.
What?
Yes, a flying car. There it is. This is the first fully electric vehicle to get
my
U.S. government
goodness.
approval that can both fly and travel on roads. This still needs approval from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Well, if you plan to travel overseas before October and need a new passport, you might have to make some changes. It's currently taking 10 to 13 weeks to process passport applications. Paying $60 to expedite the process might trim that down to about 7 to 9 weeks. The State Department is receiving 500,000 applications a week. Things may improve at the end of the year with the launch of a new online renewal system.
One popular payment app is charging people double what we know so far this morning about an issue with Cash App.
Heads up if you use Cash App. I know a lot of people do. The company is investigating a glitch that's charging you double. Users posting on social media about this. They say the duplicate charges have led to negative account balances. Cash App has not said how long it's going to take to fix this glitch or how long it'll take for people to get their refunds on those double charges.
Still ahead for you this morning, be mindful which emoji you text. It could cost you thousands of dollars. We're going to talk about it on the other side of this break.
Do you still have time to take advantage of Amazon Prime Day deals? What you need to know before you hit add to cart. We're back in 60 seconds. Get up, DC. Time is ticking. UPS and the Teamsters Union will have a week to reach a compromise. Coming up, see how the potential strike could affect your packages, wallet, and possible employment.
it looks like Ben's Chili Bowl will no longer be an exclusive DC thing. Those of you living in Maryland, get ready because this is not a drill. Starting tomorrow, Ben's Chili Bowl and half smokes will be available in the prepared food sections and hot bars at giant food stores across the DMV. We're talking Ben's original and spicy half smokes, chili con carne, turkey chili, that's my fave, and the secret chili sauce. All the goodness that you could only get in DC and of course Arlington will now be available to you everywhere. So I guess that makes this a DMV thing.
You have until the end of the week to see history on the walls of D.C. Manga artist Gigi Murakami created a mural to honor the 78th anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The mural pairs her signature comic book style with 9 different haikus.
They're powerful. They help to raise awareness by telling the story of the creation of nuclear weapons and the destruction they can cause. Peace is a part of a global campaign that hopes to make a future free of nuclear weapons.
There are nearly 20 locations throughout D.C., including one near Capital One Arena and Gallaudet University, and that makes this today's D.C. thing. America continues to celebrate one of our nation's heroes.
I couldn't go any way that someone didn't recognize me or come over and say, thanks for your service.
This is Colonel Paris D. Davis. He was one of the first black officers to serve in the Green Berets during the Vietnam War. Back in March, President Joe Biden awarded him the Medal of Honor. Davis secured his place in Special Forces history yesterday. Now you'll find his name engraved in the Medal of Honor wall at the National Museum of the U.S. Army in Virginia.
Well, by the end of the year 2030, President Joe Biden says all Americans will have high-speed internet access. He says this is no longer a luxury, but a need.
Think of the parents and students sitting outside of McDonald's or outside your office to be able to get on the internet in a parking lot just so the child can go online to do their homework.
President Biden is investing more than $40 billion to make this possible. He compared the move to FDR's push to bring electricity into every American's home in the 1930s. President Joe Biden trying to make the future of light bulbs brighter by updating efficiency requirements. So coming out, we're going to verify if President Biden's light bulb ban will dim your wallet.
We're back with 2 health alerts for you this morning. First, a new drug could prevent your little ones from catching a respiratory virus. The FDA approved an antibody to protect children under 2 years old from RSV. If the CDC signs off, it would become the second antibody available to protect young kids against RSV. The Iowa State Legislature passed a bill to ban most abortions after 6 weeks. Right now, abortions remain legal up to 20 weeks after conception, but one signature from Governor Kim Reynolds would change that. If the bill passes the state Senate, Reynolds plans on signing it on Friday, and the bill would take effect immediately. If the ban is passed, Iowa will join about a dozen states with 6-week abortion bans.
If you had summer plans to head to Philadelphia, you might want to take a closer look at your route. Look at this video. The I-95 highway in northwest Philly partially collapsed yesterday, causing the mess that you're looking at there. Clouds of smoke filled the sky after a commercial truck carrying 8,500 gallons of gas burst into flames. No injuries or deaths have been reported. The bridge will be closed for repairs, causing extensive delays and detours. Now, we're told the construction could take months.
Big news for the Washington Wizards. The team is finalizing a trade to send Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns.
Beal spent 11 seasons with the Wizards, but now he is ready for some change. He is reportedly waiving his no-trade deal to form a new Big Three with Devin Booker and Prince George's County native Kevin Durant. The deal will be finalized in a few days.
Gymnastics fans are flipping out. Simone Biles is on the list to compete in the U.S. Classic in August. If she does, this will be her first competition in 2 years since the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Now, if you remember, Biles dropped out of multiple events then after struggling with the twisties, which are mental blocks when performing in midair.
I still think there are some things to work on throughout the night in my routines, but for the first meet back, I would say it went pretty well.
That is the great Simone Biles. She competed for the first time since the 2021 Olympics this weekend near Chicago. And in case you forgot, this gymnast took a break from competing after mental blocks with the twisties. But she left that all on the floor, pun intended. Biles took on the best scores on the 3 out of the 4 events. She will compete in the championships in a couple weeks. She is hoping to secure, she is like not human. She's hoping to secure a spot to compete in the 2024 Olympics in Paris. Coming up, wheelchair-bound young athletes are rallying to become the next tennis champions thanks to a very special donation. For you this morning, a story to get you uplifted on a Monday. The Washington Mystics supporting new mothers in the district. We'll show you how right on the other side of the break.